Awesome. We are back on in it. Welcome back to my part two of the instrument families for this lesson. Now, if you remember from last time, we were on this guy, this one right here. Awesome. The French horn. This one is my instrument that my kids at Parkway Elementary have gone to see. Now, what instrument family do you think that this instrument belongs to? Remember, it's entirely made out of brass, uses a brass mouthpiece, and you have to be able to produce a sound, you create a buzz on that mouthpiece by putting it up to your lips. Create a buzz to produce the sound. Fully metal. Take a moment to think about it. Which one do you think it might be? Strings, woodwinds, brass, or percussion? Fully made out of metal, so if you were thinking that it was brass, you would be exactly right. It is definitely brass. Most definitely. Very nice. Now, the double bass. This is one of that big old bass, the big bass inside the orchestral family. Remember, this instrument uses those strings, as well as a bow, that you draw across the strings to be able to produce a sound. You can also be able to pluck it to be able to create the sound too. Now, this big old instrument, what instrument family do you think it belongs to? The percussion, brass, woodwinds, or strings? Now, do you remember how we identify stringed instruments? Exactly, if they have strings. So, if you were thinking strings, you would be exactly correct. It is definitely strings. Whenever we have a string instrument, we just look for, or at least whenever the instrument has strings, then we know that it's a part of the string family. Very nice job, very nice job. Ooh, the bells, the bells. Very, very beautiful instrument. This is one that we haven't gone to cover yet. This instrument is made out entirely of metal. And you use a big old mallet to bang on these bells to be able to produce the sound. Remember, use a mallet to bang on these bells to produce the sound. So, what instrument family would that belong to if you have to bang on it to produce the sound? Strings, woodwinds, brass, or percussion? Which one? Take a moment to think about it. If you were thinking percussion, you would be exactly correct. The reason being that you use a mallet to be able to bang on it to produce the sound, which hits one of those three categories for percussion, which is to bang on it, rub it, or shake it. Very nice, very nice. Ooh, the marimba, a very beautiful instrument. This instrument could be made out of wood, or metal, or even both. To be able to produce the sound on this instrument, you use mallets that you guys have used with xylophones inside your classroom. You use these mallets to be able to hit the wood block on its belly to be able to produce the sound. So in other words, you would use the mallet to bang on the belly of the wood to produce the sound. So, if you used a mallet to bang on it, what do you think that might be for the instrument family? We've just talked about it on the last one, so if you were thinking percussion, you would be correct. Very nice job. The bass clarinet. A very big old one. Now, bass clarinet is often usually made out of wood, but could also be made out of plastic and metal, depending on what kind of stuff that you want to use. But the biggest thing to note about it is that on the mouthpiece, you do use a wooden reed to be able to produce the sound. So, with that information, what do you think that this instrument might fall into for the bass clarinet? Strings, woodwinds, brass, or percussion? Well, it can be made out of some metal, so maybe I'm thinking brass? Ah, that's not it. That's not it. Now, why would it not be made out of brass, I wonder? Well, I guess it might be because of that big thing that we were just talking about, because it uses a wooden reed to be able to produce the sound. And what instruments use a reed? The woodwinds. Exactly. Very nice. Okay, let's make this one the last one, and then we're going to move on to some other stuff. The viola. You guys haven't gotten to see this one, but it's the instrument right in between that small violin and that bigger cello that you guys have seen. So, this viola has strings, and it uses a bow that you draw across the strings to produce the sound. You could also pluck it to also create the sound. Now, what instrument does this one belong to for the instrument families? Strings, woodwinds, brass, or percussion? What do you think? Percussion? Because you gotta bang that viola. Oh, I'm just kidding. You use a bow. So if you were thinking strings, you would definitely be correct. Very nice job. Very nice job. Really good review. It was really good. All that stuff was really good. Okay, now in the meantime, I would like to go over with you guys just a little bit about the workbook that has been sent out to you by Miss McDowell, our music teacher. Now, this is my workbook that I wanted to provide to you guys. You guys don't have to do this workbook, but it is a lot of fun, and it's a great way to improve yourself at knowing these instruments and their families. So, please, if there's anything that you see inside this this presentation, I've already given it to Miss McDowell to send out to your parents. If there are some things that you see that you would like to use, please ask them to print it off so you can be able to work on it. It's a very fun packet. Now, just to go over a few things, in case if you do want to do it, the first thing we have here is some coloring. We have this page, this one, and this one. Now, if you can see, right up here, on the top, you can see that it says your name and the class. Please make sure to fill that out, of course, if you ever want to bring it back to school to give to me. And then you have this right here, the name of the family. As you can see, this one is for the brass family. So the instructions are very simple. You just color each instrument that is a member of the brass family. The next page is the exact same, except you see that it says woodwind. So instead you'll do the woodwind family, then the string family, and then the percussion family. Here we have, if you're not for sure on coloring those guys, we have these instruments that show you exactly the family, and they're all inside those pictures that you just saw in that slide. You have the trumpet, French horn, trombone, tuba, of course being the brass family. Then you have the woodwind family, such ones being the piccolo, flute, clarinet, and all that stuff. Then you have the string family, the violin, viola, cello, bass, and of course the harp, a new instrument that you haven't gotten to see, but the harp is a part of the string family because it has strings. And then of course the percussion family with all those guys. Use these as a tool to be able to help you in coloring those worksheets. It's a lot of fun. Here we just have some random coloring for you to be able to do. You can be able to color out any of this kind of stuff. Feel free to cover whatever that you would like. Let your imagination run wild. This goes for all brass, woodwind, string, and percussion. Now, if you can see on this one, I've set up a word scramble one, so that way you're not for sure what exactly it might be. This one is for the brass family. As you can see, the letters are all scrambled up. I want you to be able to write the name of the instrument. Remember, if you're not for sure exactly what the name of the instrument is, the slides from before do have the exact names. So, make sure to look back in case if you need any help. This goes on the same for the woodwind family, the string family, and the percussion family. This one is another fun coloring one, where I have strings, I want you to color orange, woodwinds, I want you to color blue, brass, I want you to color yellow, and then percussion, green, my favorite color. Oh yeah, that's right. And then lastly, just some fun word searches for you for the brass family, some woodwinds, the string family, and percussion family. And then if you really want to go hardcore and test yourself to see how well you know these families, I have this one where you can list as many as you can think of inside the families. This goes for every single one that you would like. And then of course a fun coloring sheet, just for the funsies at the end. And the answer keys are also inside here. So once you've finished them, make sure to bring them to your parents to have them check to see how you did. A really fun workbook for you to be able to work on as you continue on. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. All right. Now, I have another fun activity for us. This one is our four corners. All right. This is musical four corners for the instrument families. Now, some directions about how we're going to play this. These are all the different instruments that we're going to have. We're going to have each family pop up for each corner. We're going to have 4 different corners for the 4 different families. We'll have a corner 1, a corner 2, corner 3, and corner 4. So, each one will be labeled different, like the brass, the woodwinds, or so on and so forth with the different instruments. Right in the middle, we're going to have an audio to be able to listen to, and then we're going to try and guess on what instrument we think it might be and the family that it belongs to. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get right on into it. So, these are the 4 corners. In the top left, you have the French horn, right here, my favorite instrument. Then corner 2, you have the clarinet. Corner 3, you have the bass drum. And then corner 4, you have the violin. All right, I want you to listen closely, and then we're going to try and decide what we think that this audio cue is for. Let's hear that one more time. Very quick. Very nice sounding. Now, from what it sounded like to me, that instrument sounded like it was using a bow to go across the strings. So, with that, what do you think is the instrument that played that little audio cue? Do you think it was the French horn in corner 1, clarinet in corner 2, bass drum in corner 3, or violin in corner 4? What do you think? If you were thinking corner 4 for the violin, you would be absolutely correct. Very nice job. The violin is the instrument that's being played here because it is the only stringed instrument, as well as the only one that uses the bow to be able to go across the strings. Very nice job if you thought it was corner 4. Let's go ahead and continue on. Now, we have corner 1 is the flugelhorn, which is a variation on the trumpet. Corner 2 is, of course, the violin, once again. Corner 3, the saxophone. Corner 4, the chimes. We'll be getting right back into this one in the next part of our lesson. Thank you so much, and see you in part 3.